Winter is all but practically here, and you find yourself sitting on your couch, waiting patiently for your local mountain to open. Maybe you live in Utah, Colorado, or Lake Tahoe, and your local mountain is world class, but you want something new. Or you live in the East, and your local's a bit of a drive, but it's okay during the season, you just want more. Or maybe you're not in the US, maybe you're in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Europe. You find yourself pondering the age-old question. Do I take a ski trip to somewhere in the USA or Japan? Maybe you've heard about Japan's legendary powder, or the vast terrain and the vertical of the resorts in the western United States. But these trips cost money, hard-earned money, so you really want bang for your buck. In this video, we are diving into the ultimate comparison between skiing and snowboarding in these top two destinations. From snow quality and terrain variety, to lift pass pricing and the culture on offer. I'll cover everything you need to know, so if you are venturing near or far, you might feel a little bit more educated on your decision. Whether you are hunting the perfect powder day or some of the gnarliest technical inbounds terrain, you'll have all the facts you need by the end of this video. But before we get into it, if you find this video helpful, give it a like. And if you've ridden in both countries, tell us in the comments. But most importantly, subscribe to stay up to date. First, let's get started with a general overview. The USA is home to over 450 ski resorts, spread across various regions like the Rockies, the Sierra Nevada mountain range, the Midwest, and the East Coast. You've got major destinations like Vail, Aspen, Park City, and Jackson Hole in the Rockies, each offering massive terrain, massive lift systems, and plenty of snowfall. In the Midwest and the East, things start to get smaller in all ways possible. Smaller overall resort size, smaller vertical, and lower annual snowfall. The US ski season can run from as early as October in some high altitude areas like Arapahoe Basin and extend into May or even late June, particularly with California's Mammoth Mountain. On the other hand, Japan has roughly 500 ski resorts in operation, but most are concentrated in two regions, Hokkaido and the northern half of Honshu. Hokkaido, with resorts like Niseko, Rizutsu, and Furano, is famous for its powder. Light, fluffy snow falls consistently throughout the whole season here. The resorts dotted all the way across the island of Honshu offer varied terrain, with the resorts in the central north getting some of the most snow of any resort on the planet. Japan's ski season typically starts in late November and runs till about mid-April, with peak powder conditions occurring between January and late February. Snow quality and consistency is where Japan takes a gold medal, not just versus the US, but the rest of the world. While parts of the USA can see incredible 24 or 48 hour snowfalls, in Japan it's consistent powder for a good 9 weeks. The resorts on the island of Hokkaido see between 10 to 15 meters, circa 4 to 600 inches of snowfall annually, and its powder is incredibly light and dry, due to the cold Siberian winds that blow over the Sea of Japan. Niseko alone can see between 1 to 2 meters of fresh snow per week during the peak season. If you like it deep, northern Japan is where you're going to find it. Resorts like Kiroro average around 19 meters or 828 inches of snow each season, consistently more than any other resort globally. In the USA, snow quality varies greatly by region. Utah's Cottonwood Canyons, where resorts like Alta and Snowbird are located, receive over 12 meters or 500 inches of snow each season. And a powder day here can be one of the best days of your life, when you fold in the terrain they have on offer. However, if you head over to California's Sierra Nevada mountain range, the resorts that surround Lake Tahoe get good snowfall, but it's not consistent, and can be on the wetter or heavier side. In Colorado, the resorts sit at a higher elevation, base villages at well over 2,500 meters, which helps maintain good snow quality throughout the season. A true powder day is less frequent when compared to Japan. Most resorts in Colorado average around 7.6 meters or 300 inches of snow each season. What about the resorts in the east, I hear you ask? I have heard a lot of people online refer to the ice. Yes, there is snow, but is it worth your trip, or is it just perfect for your locals? Let's move on to the terrain and the overall resort size. In the USA, you've got resorts like Park City in Utah, which is the largest lift-connected, inbounds, non-cat or hike terrain ski resort in the country, and it offers over 7,300 acres of skiable terrain. Sorry, Powder Mountain, facts are facts. Vail is another example, boasting over 5,300 acres and offering everything from groomers to the massive and legendary back bowls. You'll also find large resorts like Whistler Blackcomb, though technically it's in Canada, but it's still accessible to many American riders, with over 8,000 acres of terrain. These resorts are perfect for every type of rider, from beginners through to intermediates through to advanced. They are also great resorts for groups or families who have a range of abilities between them. Japanese resorts, in comparison, are tiny, but they make up for their size with a focus on tree skiing and powder. Niseko United, which combines 4 interlinked resorts, offers only about 2,190 acres of terrain, much smaller compared to the US resorts. But we spent 2 full days riding here, and it feels like we only just scratched the surface. Hakuba Valley, Japan's largest collection of resorts, has 10 interconnected ski resorts that are available on one single pass, offering in total about 2,800 acres of terrain. Hakuba's terrain is steeper than what you'll find up north in Hokkaido, and if the snow gods have turned on the taps, the steep tree runs in Cortina are comparable to a powder day in Utah. Lift infrastructure is an area where the USL excels. American resorts have invested heavily in high-speed lift systems, with resorts like Big Sky who have invested a ton in the last few years to have the best lift system in the country. From Vail to Snow Basin to Sun Valley, you'll find heated gondolas and high-speed lifts galore. In contrast, Japan's lift system can be a bit of a mixed bag. The larger resorts have upgraded to modern high-speed lifts and gondolas, but many smaller resorts still use the older, slower double chairlifts. But this also means that Japan's resorts often feel less crowded, because they actually are, and the slower lift system means that there's more time for the consistent snowfall to fill in your runs before your next lap. If you're after a more relaxed atmosphere without rushing to grab first chair, Japan's system, despite its slower pace, could be that of an advantage. General ski culture and atmosphere vary widely between the USA and Japan. American resorts often have vibrant base villages. Think places like Aspen, which is known for its après-ski scene filled with high-end dining options, bars, and on-mountain entertainment. Places like Park City and Heavenly also have similar atmospheres, with a range of lively nightlife spots and plenty of restaurants to choose from. Many resorts also offer slopeside accommodation, so ski in, ski out is on the agenda. In Japan, the culture revolves more around relaxation at the end of your day. Onsens are a staple in Japanese ski experience, as is beer. Nearly every resort has access to both, and there's nothing quite like soaking in an outdoor hot spring surrounded by snow after a day of riding. Food is another highlight in Japan. You'll find everything from ramen and curry houses on the mountain to izakayas in the nearby village. For example, once you finish riding in Furano or Nozawa Onsen, you can step a few meters from the resort and access a plethora of restaurants and bars. Pricing and skiing is one of the most discussed things online every winter. Even after buying flights to Japan from Europe, Australia, or the US, it will still be cheaper overall than a week in Utah, Tahoe, or Colorado. In the USA, lift tickets at major resorts can be, they're very expensive. For instance, a day pass at Vail, Deer Park, or Jackson Hole during the season can exceed $250 to $299 USD, taking the title for some of the most expensive places to ski globally. That means 4 days of riding can stack up to over $1,000 to access a mountain. This has somehow become the norm because of the megapasses. There are plenty of videos on YouTube about how the megapass system seems to have made skiing and snowboarding completely unaffordable for everyday folk. In Japan, lift tickets are generally much more affordable. We purchased all of our lift tickets on the day at the resorts in Japan, and they ranged anywhere from 45 to 80 Australian dollars. That's 29 to 53 USD. Accommodation in Japan is also far cheaper. Slopeside accommodation in a lodge or a ryokan can be had for $100 to $200 per night. Compare that to the USA. If you want ski in, ski out at Park City, bang, $1,000 a night. Walking distance to a lift in Breckenridge, boom, $800 per night. And let's not forget about Palisades Tahoe. You have to stay in the village to avoid the traffic jams on a powder day. $1,000 per night, thank you. If you then fold in the cost of dining, après, ski rental, and even ski lessons, the USA wants hundreds of dollars for each of these, whereas in Japan, you can eat for $10, drink for $5, rent skis for $20, and get lessons for under $50. So, as mentioned before, even with the cost of the flight and a weak currency, Japan is much, much cheaper. Accessibility is one of the most important parts of booking a ski trip. How long does it take for me to fly to the airport? How long from the airport to the ski resorts? And then how far is my hotel from the chairlift? Thinking about all of this, it's clear. The more you spend, the closer you are to the ski resorts and the lifts. Across the USA, most major destination ski resorts are within a few hours' drive of major cities and major airports. Denver Airport, for example, is less than 2 hours from the large collection of I-70 resorts like Keystone, A-Basin, and Breckenridge. Heading into Salt Lake City, you can be at the base of a resort in 30 to 40 minutes, obviously pending weather and traffic. You don't need to hear it from us. Everyone knows about the drama of the Little Cottonwood Canyons. Over in Japan, well, the first part is the flight. There are plenty of great value direct flights to both Tokyo Narita and Tokyo Haneda. If you're planning to visit the ski resorts in Honshu, then you can get out of the airport and get on a bullet train, and then once you reach the resorts, there's plenty of public transport. Otherwise, if you're heading up north to Hokkaido, this will require another 2.5-hour flight to Shitose Airport in Sapporo, and then a drive for a few hours to get to the likes of Niseko, Rizutsu, Kiroro, or Furano. It's a little bit of a hike, but it's an international holiday. When have those ever been a walk in the park? So, what's the final verdict? Is the USA or Japan better for your next ski or snowboard trip? Well, that really depends on what your priorities are. We have travelled and skied in the US 3 times and loved every second of it. The terrain is incredible, on a powder day it's really fun, and the lift system is reasonably new and is efficient. However, it's expensive. Japan, on the other hand, we've travelled to numerous times, but only once for a ski holiday. If you like deep snow which refills every single night, great value lift tickets, cheap accommodation, good food, beer, low crowds, then Japan is your place to find it. Plus, you get the enjoyment of exploring a new country which feels incredibly different from the West. No matter where you choose, at the end of the day, riding on any mountain gets us excited, and there are so many resorts to visit. Let me know in the comments where you'd rather ski, and if you have any thoughts on what's better. Is it Japan or the USA? Lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Ciao!